So, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. I'll request everyone to turn on your cameras, at least for the first beginning of the session. Would love to see your faces, put some names to faces, and congratulations on making it here. I know everyone leads a very busy life, and often our own well being sometimes gets to the bottom of our priorities. And this is completely dedicated to our well-being, to each one of your well-being. So, congratulations on prioritizing this, committing to this. Whatever little voice inside you said that there is something more to explore, more to learn than the many things that we're doing every day. So, listen to that little voice, trust the intuition that brought you here, and I hope that you have as much fun, as much joy exploring the incredible territory of the mind as I did on my first retreat or on my subsequent retreats, depending on whether it's your first or you're repeating a retreat over here. So I wish for you that you have the same kind of experience and get the joy of learning more about yourself. So, very quickly, I'll just lay out what we're going to do today, right? So, this retreat is about understanding our mind, building some skills with it, and being able to develop oneself into one's own coach, right? So, in a way, being able to understand how one's mind works, what leads to certain experiences of life, and what can we do to start making that cooperate with what we'd like it to be, right? So, that's what we're going to do over the next few days. Today, we'll start by just laying out what one of the core aspects, which will be unfamiliar to some of you, familiar to some of you, depending on whether you've practiced any kind of meditation in the past. So, we have a very specific technique that we'll be using. So, today we'll introduce the technique over three guided sessions. So, small sessions, we'll break up different parts of the technique. That's one thing we'll do. Second, I'll just talk a little bit about the structure of the retreat, what to expect over the coming few days, how to plan well, plan your time, plan your energy so you can get the most out of this, right? And to begin with, what we'll do is we'll just start with a brief round of introductions, right? So, this practice that we're going to do has smiling as a integral component of it, right? So it's literally a part of the posture. Don't worry, you don't have to smile in a way that you end up scaring the people around you. Just a light smile to know that you're smiling, know just enough to color your outlook, your relation with the world, right? So we'll start with that, and we'll start with a very simple introduction where you're joining in from, what your name is, and one thing that's making you smile these days, right? So I'll go first. I'm Rajiv. I'm joining in from Goa, and one thing that's making me smile these days is a bunch of papaya saplings that I've sprouted up from the seeds that I'd planted a little while back, and some of them have started flowering. So that's one thing that's making me smile these days. And each one of you, as you introduce yourself, please nominate the next person. Great. So we'll just continue that theme. So we'll dive straight into a small guided practice. We'll talk a little bit about what we are going to do, the meditation part of it, right? So, like I said, we'll be understanding the mechanisms of the mind, learning some skills with the mind, and learning how to apply it in life, right? So there are many different aspects to this retreat. What we're going to start off with is the skills, right? If you've had any kind of meditation practice in the past, for the next few days, I want you to put it aside and stick to the steps that we're sharing. It's like a fine recipe. So first master the classic, and then you can experiment with it, right? So we'll start, and as we do this, we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up, because meditation or self exploration means many things to many people. So we'll start going a little bit into what exactly we are talking about, what to look forward to over the coming days, right? So let's get started. Simple thing. The first thing that we need to start with is posture, right? And here there is nothing magical about the floor. So find something comfortable where you can also sit attentively, right? So don't find a beanbag where you're going to just sink into it and fall asleep, right? Something that gives you nice back support, or if you're used to sitting without back support, that's excellent, right? So comfortable, attentive, and the third part is smiling. So these are the three key aspects of our posture, right? So attentive means having a straight, neutral spine, not necessarily too stiff so that you get uncomfortable, right? So it will clash with what we want to maintain about our posture. Comfortable, and your mind is going to throw up a lot of googlies your way. So let your body be cooperative, right? And finally, smiling, right? So again, like I said, don't force a smile. I know, like Vidya mentioned, for some people it might feel alien, and unfortunately, that's the way it goes, right? From smiling over an average of 400 times a day as a kid, we get to a point where people need to try really hard to make us smile. So it's okay. So just a little smile. And by a smile, I mean slightly upturned lips. Feel the smile around your eyes as well, and know in your mind that you're smiling, right? So those are like the, like, just calling out the different aspects of it. So let's do that. Let's get into posture, comfortable, attentive, smiling, and close our eyes. So to begin with, we'll just kind of settle into this posture, get more familiar with it, right? So first of all, take a couple of deep breaths in and exhale slowly, right? So breath in, exhale slowly. Another breath in, exhale slowly. Just take a moment to see how your weight falls on your chair, your seat, wherever you're sitting, whether your feet are on the ground. Just see how your weight falls into where you're sitting. How your clothes feel against your skin. Just lightly notice it. Do a quick smile check. Bring up the smile again if you're losing it. So, we talked about things that are making us smile these days. I want you to take your mind to a time that you felt the happiest, right? Something that immediately brings a warm, happy feeling within you. It could be right now, the things you experience right now, or could be something from your childhood. It could be with others, with family, with friends, with children, with pets. It could be being by yourself, doing something you really, really love, makes you feel really you. Could be one or more events, times in your life. Go to that time that really immediately makes you feel warm inside, makes your smile feel that much more natural. And try to remember what it feels like, what it felt like at that time to be really happy, to not be caught up in any worries of the future or any regrets of the past. to be feel fully involved in the moment, to not wanting to be anywhere else, right? Completely enjoying what you're doing. Try to recognize that joyful, warm feeling within you. Every emotion we experience has a correlate. When you're angry, your head tenses up, your ears become warm. When you're really happy, when you're with people you love, you have a warm, fuzzy feeling. For most people, it'll be in the chest. For others, it may be elsewhere. Try to identify this feeling and let it develop, let it become stronger. Almost like a milk boiling over. Let it gradually rise and expand within you. As you do this, I want you to direct this feeling of well being, of joy, of warmth towards yourself. Wish it for yourself. May I be happy. May I be without worries. Just gently in your mind, say these phrases or anything that connects with you. May I be full of life. May I be full of love. May I be without fear. As you do this, give yourself permission to do nothing but wish yourself well for the next couple of minutes. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just bring up the feeling using a happy memory and wish that for yourself. If you lose the feeling, it's okay. Go back. Remember that time when you were really happy. Relive that moment. Remember what it felt like. And gently direct it. Wish it for yourself. May I be happy. May I be calm. May I be full of joy. Keep at it. Now, as I count to three, gently open your eyes with a smile. One, two, three. So, quick show of hands, how many of you had your mind wander to something that was unrelated to a happy memory or smiling? Nice. So first of all, just let's take a moment to reflect on this, right? So we gave ourselves permission. We're here without any other competing agenda. Even as we started the practice, we gave ourselves permission that there's nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. But our mind wanders, right? And as you see, you're not alone in this, right? So that's because this is a feature of the mind that our mind wanders to many things, right? And a very simple way to understand this is that our system, our being, our mind, body, whatever you call it, right, doesn't trust our conscious mind to take care of things, right? So I think each of us will agree that if we are given charge of our breathing and our heartbeat for a day, bound to get distracted, forget about it, right? So the mind doesn't trust us with many things, right? And one of the other things is also the mind doesn't trust us to be aware of blind spots that may be threatening to us or that may be great opportunities that we are missing, right? So there is a tendency for the mind to wander, right? So first of all, that's okay. But it's interesting that this happens without our cooperation, right? So, I mean, even if we intend to do something, our mind tends to wander. Now, while this is a feature of the mind, it is something that can really work against us as well, right? And many times we experience certain moments that we react in a way that's not very pleasant maybe, and we rationalize it saying that I was not in a great mood, or I had a tough day, or I had just come out of some kind of experience, right? And we create this nice story, but the fact happens is that our mind wanders to things. It assumes a certain flavor that, and we have no way of explaining this mood. We know to some extent if we remember certain things, if we do certain things, we feel good, but we can't rely on that. It doesn't always feel exactly as good, and it doesn't always stay that way for long as well. And what happens is this one explanation of a mood that was not cooperative, that didn't lead us to do something useful or wholesome in our lives. How that expands from one mood to many instances of emotions during a day, during a week, during a month becomes a disposition, an outlook towards life, becomes a character, colors our relationship with others. It all can happen without our understanding, without our knowledge, without our permission, right? So just as our mind wanders, while that is something that is important, we cannot be always on top of everything. So our mind wandering to different things that might need attention allows us to keep things in check. But if we don't understand this process, if we are not aware of this process, and it's always happening in an unconscious manner, it can hijack our entire experience of life, right? So part of this practice is about, or actually the core of this practice is about being able to understand how that entire experience uh, unfolds for us in our lives, right? So let me talk a little bit about what we did and what are the things that we did in the practice, right? So we talked about how attention wandering can actually take us to places where we don't intend, right? We decided to do something, we gave ourselves permission, nothing else is important at this moment, the sky is not falling on our heads. Still, our mind wanders here and there, right? And we can think of this as attention, right? Attention as a spotlight of your mind that is highlighting one part of your life, one aspect of your life versus another, right? And the attention moved from what you were doing initially, wishing yourself well, to something else, right? So we'll break this down more how attention works. But for now, let us assume that attention acts as the narrator. It's this beautiful word in Sanskrit, in Hindi called Sutradhar, right? So which essentially decides holds the strings, somebody who holds the strings of narration in your life, right? And our attention acts like that. What we see in our attention becomes our experience of life, right? So, again, we'll go more into this. So, we want to understand how attention is actually deciding our experience of life, right? And what we do is we start with a something we call a object of meditation, right? We use this as an anchor. We place our attention here, and as it wanders off, we start to see this process a little more closely, right? And very big word of the current zeitgeist, mindfulness. It comes from a word taught by, it's a practice as well as it's a something comes from something the Buddha taught called sati. This is sati is the Pali word for it, and the Sanskrit equivalent or the Hindi equivalent would be smriti, right? Smriti literally means to remember. So, one way of understanding mindfulness that will really help us in this practice is remembering to observe how attention moves from one thing to another. So, I'll repeat that. And throughout today's session, it's okay if you miss out a few things. We'll be sharing resources that you can read through, that you can refer to refresh this, right? So, just go with the flow. If you miss something, don't worry about being left behind. So, we talked about mindfulness, sati or smriti, and a working definition for us, remembering to observe how attention moves from one thing to another, right? And to sharpen our mindfulness. All of us have mindfulness, right? So if we started with this and your mind wandered, it's not like you would never remember what you were doing, right? At some point, you'd suddenly remember that, hey, I was doing this, and now without intending to, my mind has wandered somewhere, right? So sometimes you might start reading about the narcotics business in South America, and you realize you've spent 2 hours, but then you remember you have email to send out, and you eventually get it done, right? So mindfulness does kick in at some point, right? But it's one of the things is that we've never really learned how to train this skill, right? This muscle, this skill, this faculty, right? And one of the things we're going to do is to learn to catch this attention wandering just a little earlier, right? We can immediately see the practical benefits of this if we are able to. None of us is a stranger to distractions. We live in a world where a very, very huge chunk of the world economy is dedicated to hijacking and monetizing our attention, right? So our attention does wander quite unintentionally many times a day, right? So mindfulness is one of the skills we'll be developing. How do you develop it? How do you start remembering where you're to observe where your attention is when you've never done it, right? So one way to do it is by starting to acknowledge when your attention wanders and gently bring it back, right? Do this in a deliberate, intentional way, and the mind starts understanding that it is useful to see when attention wandered away. So the objective here, and this is something that most people get wrong about meditation, the objective is not to clamp our or force our mind onto one thing, right? It is not to still our mind, it is not to clear our mind. Those are things that may happen as a consequence, as we develop more cooperation with our mind, a better understanding of our mind, better skills with our mind, right? What we need to do is gently bring our attention back in a very deliberate way, right? Every time we do that, one, the mind starts to notice that, okay, our mind wandered away. Now let me gently bring it back. The second thing, it doesn't go into a defensive mode or it doesn't go into guilt or judging when we bring it back gently. So there's a very specific way in which we'll do this. In fact, I want to just mention this here and I want you to carry this through your practice. Again, we all have this different conceptions of what is meditation. And some of the most popular misconception is stilling the mind, clearing the mind, forcing it onto one object. So that is not what we're going to do. So in fact, this is the second of the great mental faculties the Buddha talks about. The first is mindfulness, we talked about. This is literally what the Buddha calls right effort. So, samma vayamo. Samma vayamo is the Pali. The Sanskrit or Hindi is samyak vyayam. Samyak means appropriate, suitable, right, harmonious. There are many ways to. Right? What's suitable for this situation, right? What is appropriate? Uh, and or vyayam literally means exercise or application or effort, right? And this is where we have to put our effort, not in forcing our mind to be with the object. And many of us will realize if we are doing something very intensely, there is a time when there is fatigue that sets in and we can't concentrate or focus on something, right? We can get through, we're completely pumped, we're completely, motivated to do that. We're really zoomed into it. But after a while, when we are outside that situation, we find that our mindfulness, our concentration, our focus completely collapses because this kind of efforting is quite fatiguing, quite draining to our mind. So, in fact, the Buddha says, put the effort every time your mind wanders away in gently bringing it back to something wholesome, right? So, a couple of things happen. The mind starts to learn over a period of time to both identify when it has wandered away without, absent without leave. And it also learns the art of coming back gently without using that kind of force or effort, right? So we're allowing you to do it more sustainably, more joyfully, more gently, right? So this is the second skill that we are going to practice now, right, in the second guided session. And there is a mnemonic given by our teacher Bhante Vimalaramsi called the six R's. R as in the alphabet R. And I'll just quickly walk through this and then we'll do this in the practice. Again, new skill for those of you who are doing it for the first time. Don't worry if you don't get it right away. Right. So just go with the spirit of it and very soon, sooner than you think, I guarantee you'll get the hang of it, you'll get the flow of it. So, what is the first R? Recognize. Right? Simply take that moment to recognize. And what do you recognize? You recognize that your attention has moved away from the object to something else, to something somebody said earlier, some bill you have to pay, some work you have to get done, or if you're hungry, when do we get out of this session and grab my dinner or breakfast or snack or whatever, right? So what we don't have to do is judge ourselves. Oh, my mind wandered away, or I am really poor at this. That's not what we have to do. We have to recognize. That is, see, the effort is an opportunity for us to develop our skills, right? So when we put the effort. So every time your mind wanders away, be grateful that you've got an opportunity to put in that effort, develop that skill, develop that muscle, right? So recognize that attention has moved away from the object. My attention is no longer where it was. It is now somewhere else, right? Simply that act of recognition. The second are release. So what is release? Again, without judgment, also without the temptation that, oh, now I'm not doing anything else. Maybe I can think about that important thing that's come up, right? Sometimes that's tempting. But since we're learning to not let our attention get hijacked away, right? So let us, for now, when we have intended to do something, given ourselves permission to do it, say goodbye to the other one. So this is like an uninvited guest in our mind, right? You don't fight with the guest and you don't drop whatever is important to engage with that guest. Just release, right? So gracefully let go of that disturb, whatever took your attention away. Now, the third thing is very interesting, will be new for a lot of people, and we'll do a small exercise to just become familiar with this. So, every time our attention gets caught up with something, there is a little tightness that develops in our mind and body. So, some of you will feel it happening literally around your skull, some of you might feel it in your shoulder, your neck, back, entire body, right? So, there is this tightness that develops, and we will let go of this, right? And we'll just initially, as we start the practice, we'll just familiarize ourselves with what tightness means, what relaxing means, right? Do that. Bring up the smile again. By now, we have likely forgotten the smile. So bring up the smile. Also make that your attitude, right? So this is a little game you're playing with a naughty mind, right? And you're not to get angry with yourself, angry with the mind, disappointed. It's a game, right? So you're smiling and getting ready to return to the object. Make your way gently back. By this time, it's possible you may have lost that warm feeling. So feel free to go back to that memory, bring up the feeling, and wish it to yourself, right? And finally, the most important thing, the last R, repeat. This is an understanding that the mind is going to wander again. So, what we are doing is we are repeating, we are embarking on that cycle of staying with the object till it wanders and bringing it back again. So, we need to do this. Every time we repeat, we are learning more about how our mind works, we are building skills with it. So, before we start this practice, I also want to just take a moment to define what our object of meditation is, right? So, the object of meditation, that happy feeling that we brought about, that we wish to ourselves. So, this is a special meditation object that the Buddha taught called Metta, right? Metta translates to Maitri. Maitri is literally the feeling of friendliness, goodwill, right? Think of a really dear friend, and immediately, and if you, especially if you're seeing them after a long time, like Mridul was mentioning in the beginning, you naturally feel this outflow of goodwill towards them, right? So, this feeling of goodwill, wishing directed, it has to be directed, right? Goodwill, it's not goodwill in a vacuum, even towards ourselves. This is Maitri or Metta, the object of meditation we are using. For many people, the idea of meditation might be coming back to the breath. We use a different object for a bunch of reasons. One, it leads to a lot of fast progress in our experience. And the second thing is it also creates a very beautiful home base that your attention can keep returning to. Many times we feel that our attention just keeps going to the highest bidder, right? So like a ball in a pinball machine, just reacting from one thing to the other, right? And finally, we feel as if at the end of the day, we feel like now we have earned the right to own our attention, and immediately we contributed to the attention economy on our phones, right? So. Uh, Right. So this is the object of meditation. Every time our mind wanders away, gently bring it back. It is not, it's a win every time you recognize and gently bring your attention back. And that is something very important to remember. All right. So let's take this for a spin. Let's get into posture, comfortable, attentive, smiling. So, like I said, I'll just guide us through a very small process to become understand what tightness, tension can feel like. Right. So, I want you to clench your entire body from head to toe and just go as if you're hanging on to dear life from something, right? Just, feet, your legs, your core, your arms, your neck, your head, everything. Just clench tight. And now gently, just slowly let it relax as if you're putting down a couple of heavy bags of grocery after you've been lugging it for a lot of time. Keep relaxing. Realize you're going past where you started before you were tight. Keep relaxing. Keep noticing that sensation of relaxing as you put down that heavy weight and ease into a smile. So when we relax, we won't tighten first, but we'll simply just this feeling. Let's go again just to become familiar with it, right? So imagine you're picking up heavy bags of grocery or lugging a heavy school bag as you might have as a kid. And feel that weight and feel your entire body tensing to keep it up and gently relax. You've put down that weight. Feel especially in your head, feel that tightness melt away and ease into a smile. All right, we're ready to begin now. As we did before, give yourself permission to wish yourself well. Also, give yourself permission to gently bring your attention back every time it wanders. Not to treat it as a mistake or as a failure, but as an opportunity to train your mind. All right, with that, let's bring up the object of meditation. Take your mind to that happy time, happy memory. Relive that moment. Remember what it felt like. Notice that warm feeling grow within you as you remember. Develop it further. Let it grow. Let it expand within you. And gently direct it to yourself. May I be happy. May I be full of life, full of joy, without fear or worries. Keep sending that wish to yourself. Let that feeling grow. You may find that your attention has wandered to a thought, to a memory, to something coming up, or maybe just a sound, maybe the sound of my voice. It's all right. Recognize that attention has wandered away and release whatever took your attention away. Let it be. It's all right. You came up. I don't need to engage. Relax any tightness in your mind and body, as if you're letting down a weight you didn't realize you were carrying. Bring up the smile again and return. If you can't find the feeling, bring it up again and gently wish it for yourself. May I be happy. May I be full of joy. May I be free of worries or fears, regrets or guilts. And again, your mind may wander. It's all right. Recognize, release whatever took your attention away. Relax. Smile and come back. May I be happy. May I be calm. May I be full of life. And as I count to three, gently open your eyes with a smile. One, two, three. Right. Good to see everyone looking a little lighter already. So, a few things. For some of you, this bringing up this feeling may be overwhelming. You may feel like ready to cry. It's okay. Let the emotion play out. Perfectly all right. For others, you might find that it's a struggle to bring this up. For some of you, you might find your mind is extremely restless. I've hardly finished one 6 hour and my mind has wandered again. Right. So, all of these are, again, like we said at the beginning, like we saw at the beginning, ours is not the only mind that wanders. Right. So, no matter the way your mind responds, it is still responding like a human mind. The way it's responding has a lot to do with your experiences of life, with what's happened in the particular day, with how what kind of training your mind has received from its different experiences, right? So our job is not to judge it because this is the mind we have to live with. Our job is to befriend it, train it, develop it, cultivate it, right? So have that nourishing, patient kind of approach with your mind. And the other thing is that there are different pathways for this practice, right? So depending on how your mind responds to the practice, we'll have different pathways that will help you make the most progress that is most relevant for you right now, right? So I'll use that as a way to segue into how this retreat functions, right? So uh, the first thing, so tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. India time, right? We will have a group meditation where we'll go through these, just brush up on this again. We'll do a small morning routine, and we'll do a 30-minute sitting, right? So might sound intimidating to some of you, but I guarantee that you'll get there, right, over the next few days. We are not forcing our mind. We are not, there is no failure in our mind wandering. There is no failure even in being restless, right? So the effort is to gently bring the attention back, right? So the success of meditation is to use the right effort every time we realize that our mind has wandered away, right? So there is, uh, so that's what we need to continuously do gently without effort, right? So 30 minutes sitting in the morning. If you can do it with a group, 7 a.m. India time, that is the best. If you can't do, that's perfectly fine. Find a time that is convenient to you. This program is designed for people who lead active lives. It's adapted from 9-day residential retreats where you stay without any other commitments, don't go out, right? So, and you don't even have any communication devices with you, right? So it's adapted from that for an active life. So feel free to adapt it to your life, right? So uh, do the morning. So morning one sitting is required. And this sitting will, like I said, there'll be three guided sessions. We'll end today's session with the third guided session, which will give you the exact practice that you'll do in the morning sitting, right? Get one more sitting in through the rest of the day. So whether it's in the evening, whether it's through the day, depending on your schedule, your constraints, 30 minutes again, right? And don't worry, you'll get there. And so if you feel intimidated, it's something you'll get there. It's not a small number, but it's something each one of you is going to get. Other than this, what we're going to have is every day there'll be videos, or we'll have a live session in the middle on Wednesday and one next Saturday, right? So other than that, every day we'll be sharing some videos with you. This, like we've already done, we've talked about attention as a spotlight, we've talked about how it's wandering, right? So we go deeper into this entire mechanism that is actually creating our experience of life. After this session, you're going to go and you might receive a work message, or you might remember something you have to get done. Somebody in your family or somebody in your personal life may say something to you, or they may need something from you. And you'll find that you've gone into a completely different universe. Right now, exploring your mind, maybe realizing different muscles in the mind that you didn't know existed. And then suddenly you have to get a task done, or maybe deal with a irate customer, whatever it is, right? And you find you're in a completely different universe. You are prioritizing different things. You want certain outcomes, right? You have a certain disposition towards this. So, what happens when we go from this kind of a disposition to a completely different disposition? And that disposition also doesn't depend on exactly what's happening, right? Some of you have talked about your kids. You go out and your kid plays a prank, and today you might respond differently, another day you might respond differently. That universe shapes in a very specific way in that moment, right? One of the things we'll do over the next few days is actually understand this, right? Like I said in the beginning, this practice, this retreat is designed to help you get started in becoming your own coach. For that, you need to understand your mind, you need to develop the skills with it, and you need to integrate it into your life, right? So these videos help you in understanding the mechanisms of the life, of the mind, which were understood very well millennia ago, but which are conspicuously absent from our education, right? So one of the biggest grouses I had as soon as I finished my retreat is, why hasn't anyone taught this to me already, right? So I hope you find the arena of the mind interesting enough to feel that way, right? So there'll be a video every day. Do watch the video. There is a certain way these the concepts in the videos are layered. So if you can keep up with the daily videos, that will be great. So two settings and video, and what I mentioned earlier. This practice will be, your experience over the next 9 days will be tailored to how your mind responds, where it is at today and over the next few days, and what it needs the most, right? And the reason I am saying that with confidence is because this program has been tested, it has been utilized over and refined over thousands of people, right? So we are using the learnings of that to make sure your experience is good. And the only way to do that is not to keep that experience in your head only, right? So every day there'll be a form that you need to fill out, talks about your experience of the practice of your day, what else happened, right? So it'll take 5 to 10 minutes, and that gives us the signals that we need to understand what is the best step for you next, right? So this form is a critical part of making progress and really getting something for that little voice that brought you here, and something for the time you'll be investing in this retreat, right? So that is going to be critical. One last thing is a walking meditation that you'll do every day. And the walking meditation is the just a counterpart of your sitting meditation, but you do it while walking at a regular pace in a safe space. You will find a space 20, 30 feet. You can walk back and forth. If you have a park or a circuit that you can walk, that is excellent. Just make sure it's not a place that has any danger, no vehicles or anything, where you can walk and keep your gaze maybe 8 or 10 feet in front of you. And as you walk, you stay with the object of meditation, like we started with wishing ourselves well. You stay with that, you keep your eyes open, and every time your mind wanders, you gently bring it back. Same thing. So why is this? We don't want to be masters of our mind and attention only for 30 minutes in a day in a closed room where nobody can talk to us, right? We want our mind to be our friend. We want our skills to be useful when we are challenged the most. And walking meditation acts as a bridge between that, what you're, the muscles you're developing in sitting versus a more chaotic, more stimulus rich environment, right? And it's building the skills for you to bring these abilities, these faculties into your the most chaotic parts of your life where you might really need it, right? So that's the program. Sounds like a lot, but think about the number of years you've spent in your education and your profession and your other specialization, the other life skills that you've developed that allows you to do the things you do today with some proficiency, right? So, unfortunately, like I mentioned, this education is something that is conspicuously absent from our curricula, our education system, right? So, give this time, invest in that little voice, that intuition that brought you here, and you'll get a lot of dividends from it, right? So the time that you spend here, you'll easily recoup it simply from the time that you prevent, stop your mind from being aimlessly and agendalessly distracted, right? You will get that time back many times over, right? But for the next 9 days, do plan your time, right? So we've talked about these activities. We'll also share a schedule of daily activities, right? So two 30-minute sittings, one 15-minute walking meditation, and your video and the form, right? So it'll take around 2 hours to begin with. Some of you will really take to the practice, will want to sit longer, and hopefully you'll also be able to make the time to sit longer. It is common, but mostly we find that as you start getting into that zone, you also enjoy it, right? That's a beautiful thing about this object of meditation. Metta, you will enjoy it, right? And you'll want to sit longer, right? Final note, even if you're struggling with the practice, let us know, right? Share that, because then we'll make the change that your system, your mind body really needs at this time, right? And it's going to be important to make those changes, those tweaks, right? Yeah, so that's the way this retreat is going to go. The best attitude to have is that of playing a video game. Make it a game. You're working with a naughty, sometimes uncooperative mind, but it is yours, right? It is the one that you will spend the rest of your life with. So learn more about it so you can befriend it, and you can perhaps even get it to cooperate a little more, right? So that is very important. Just in as in a video game, there is no fatal failure. You, even if you lose one bout, if your character falls in a ditch, you just use that to learn what not to do the next time. Maybe you'll get better, maybe it'll take a couple of more tries, right? So just keep bringing yourself back to that video game attitude. Couple of things to avoid during this week, right? So as you'll start realizing, our minds are full of distraction, right? It is the times we live in, and this is like dust or dirt in a clear glass of water, right? And every time we agitate it, it becomes murky, it becomes hard to see through clearly, right? We want to be able to see through clearly what's happening in our mind, right? Couple of things that will really make it worse. Social media, this is, like I said, it's designed to hijack your attention. If your livelihood depends on it, then stop when your livelihood, like when you're past that point of your livelihood depending on it. If it doesn't, for the next week, I highly recommend uninstalling the app, or at least turning off the notifications till next week, right? So uh, the news cycle will miss you, but they will be back. I think they won't abandon you. Uh, so that's one thing. Second, stay away from any intoxication for this week, right? So again, if you were to go for an athletic boot camp, you'll probably reconsider smoking through that boot camp, right? It's just going to affect your experience of that, your performance, whatever it is, right? Your progress. And the same holds. It's intoxication is another way of giving the class a shake. There is no moralizing about it, right? It's just something that will happen, right? It'll disturb that ability to see clearly, and we don't often do something like this for ourselves, so just give it the best chance of succeeding, right? So those are some of the thoughts about how to look at the next week. Again, we'll share these things with you. Don't worry about remembering everything, or I hope you're not making furious notes as we speak, right? All right, so I'll take a pause. Don't worry that I'm not taking questions right now. Most of you are already on a WhatsApp group that we'll be using. You can put your questions there. You can go through the material we share. If it feels unfamiliar, don't worry about it. Just test it out, see what's happening, and over the next few days, you'll find your rhythm, right? So, yeah. So, as I promised, we'll end the session with our third guided meditation, and this will the what we do now will be the bulk of your practice. Like I said, the Maitri or Metta is something is a feeling of goodwill, of friendliness, right? And it grows even stronger when we share it with others. It's one of those things, right, that grows when we share it with others. So one of the things we'll do is when we do a 30-minute set, for example, after 10 minutes of wishing ourselves well, we're going to share it with one friend. So I want each of you to think of one dear friend in your life that always brings up, feeling of warmth, feeling of well-being. You know you're naturally wishing them well. You know they have your back. Try to avoid anybody from your family, anybody that is unwell, and anybody that you're physically attracted to, because you're going to spend some time wishing them well. And with family, with people you're attracted to, with someone who's not well, the chances are there that your mind will get distracted in other stories, right? So just to avoid that, some simple low hanging fruit, somebody you can wish well, somebody that you know wishes you well. If you can't think of a friend immediately, it could be somebody who's been kind to you, who's been helpful to you, like a teacher, like a elder, person in your life, right? So, friend works best. Friend without strings, any strings attached, is the best way to go for this, right? So just think of one person, take 10 seconds, 15 seconds to remember who that is. And don't worry, you're not choosing between your friends, right? So we'll get to all of them. It's just starting with one. Once you have unleashed this muscle, you'll be able to wish everyone very well quite easily. All right. So what we'll do is we'll start with this practice, we'll end with this practice, and we'll bring the session to a close. We have, like I said, we have the WhatsApp group for any Qs and As, and we'll also be sharing the some material with you to look at. All right. So first few minutes, we'll wish ourselves well, and the same wish we'll share with our friend over the next few minutes. In your morning sitting, you'll do this 10 minutes for yourself, 20 minutes for your friend. Doesn't need to be accurate. When you kind of feel like you're satisfied enough, number one, you've looked after number one, and you can share with your friend, go ahead and do it, right? So that's how we'll do this. So let's get into posture, attentive, comfortable, smiling. Give yourself permission to wish yourself and a friend well. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. If the mind wanders, it's not a failure. We'll simply use right effort, gently bring our attention back. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Another deep breath and exhale slowly. Gently take your mind to a time when you're really happy. Feel your body react to this. Become a little softer, the smile becoming a little natural, a warm feeling coming up as you remember that time. Imagine this feeling growing, expanding, becoming warmer within you. And direct it to yourself, wishing unconditionally the happiness that you felt at your happiest moments. Wish that for yourself. May I be happy. May I be full of joy. May I be calm. May I always be smiling. May I be happy. May I be full of joy. May I be full of life. And you may find that your attention has wandered. It's all right. Just recognize that your attention has wandered. Release whatever came up. Relax any tightness in your mind, your body, as if you're putting down a heavy weight. Drop into a smile and return. Go back to the memory if you need to bring up the feeling again, and gently wish it for yourself. May I be happy. May I be calm. May I be without fear or worries. And again, your mind may wander. It's all right. Recognize, release, relax, smile, and come back. May I be happy? May I be calm? May I be radiant? And now that we have snagged on this goodwill for a bit, let's pass it to our dear friend. Bring up your friend's face in your mind and direct this wish towards them, as you might if you met them after a long duration. Genuinely, unconditionally, send them this wish and see them smile as they receive it. May you be happy. May you be calm. May you be without fear or worries. May you always be smiling. May you be happy. May you be full of life, full of joy. And again, your mind may wander. It's all right. Gently bring it back to the object which is wishing our friend. Recognize that attention has wandered away. Release the distraction. Relax any tightness. Re-smile and return to wishing our friend well. May you be happy. May you be calm. May you be fearless. May you always be smiling. See your friend smile as they receive your wish. And gently open your eyes with a smile as I count to three. One, two, three. So that's the practice. Just one thing I'll add. So we don't need to use the 6 hours every time something comes up in our mind. And you'll find initially a lot of things pops up. As long as you're with that wish for yourself or your friend, that is, you're still connected with it. You stay with it. Things will come up in the mind. Our attention acts as a fuel for it. If we don't pay too much attention, it goes away automatically. If we pay it more and more attention, slowly we'll go there, we'll forget we were wishing ourselves or our friend, right? That is when we use the 6 hour. Recognize that our attention has completely wandered away and gently come back. So that's the practice. Trust the process, give it a go. It's not the worst use of your time to wish yourself well and a friend well. And sooner than you realize, you'll start to learn more about yourself and start seeing changes in the way you experience your daily life. Right. So, one other thing I saw, a few of you were moving, fidgeting. Right. So, if your attention goes too much towards a discomfort and itch, again, it's your attention getting caught there. Use the 6 hours to gently bring your attention back and it will automatically subside, right? So to the extent, don't fight with it, but to the extent possible, avoid the movement, right? So that will just allow your mind to go deeper. It just allows that glass to become stiller and for the dust to settle a little bit more. All right. So with those thoughts, we'll bring today's session to a close. It's been wonderful to have your company, and it's always a privilege to be able to be a part, be a support on your journey of exploration. And the way what I said in the beginning of the session, what you'll also find from people who are coming here, who've done the retreat before, is the wish that you'll learn as many things, you'll discover interesting things about yourself, fall in love with yourself and your mind all over again as you pay a little bit more attention to the process that's in here, not just the responsibilities and tasks that you do out there. Right? So that's my wish for you as we begin. Tomorrow morning, India time, 7 a.m. is when we meet for the morning routine. Look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and look forward to the adventure ahead. Bye bye.